This keeps getting crazier for the San Diego Padres. Dylan Cease's fall from grace continues as the once superstar pitcher continues his struggle. Welcome back to another episode of Padres Digest. I'm Christian Pedersen, welcoming you into what is now part 4 of my series of videos titled, Let's Get Rid of Dylan Cease as many times and ways as we can before the All-Star break or even before the trade deadline or as soon as we can. Let's ship him out. Now, you may have watched the other 3. And if you did, I really appreciate it. If not, hit the subscribe button. Go back and watch them. We've got more of these coming out. I'm charged up about this. You might be saying, Christian, please don't do the same preamble explaining it. I will update you, though, because as of last night, his numbers got worse. This went from 3-8 to 3-9 after he got absolutely shellacked by the Diamondbacks. And I look, I hesitate to ever be the stereotypical armchair quarterback dude who's like, I could do that what the pros are doing. But look, if you look up all my college numbers, I was just as good at giving up home runs as Dylan Cease. So when I say I could do that, we could all, any one of us could have gone out there last night and surrendered 3 home runs to the Arizona Diamondbacks. We would have all, I'm sure, gladly done it for $13 less million than Dylan Cease is doing. But not even talking about the here and now of the contract, because it's an expiring contract. It's going to go on. These numbers just aren't good. And I see some of you jump in the comments section defending that, Snell flipped it in the post or in the second half of the season. You just wait. Cease is going to turn it around. I'm done waiting for him to turn it around. When it's like, if it's turn it around of, he's just got to dial in the out pitch, great. When it's turn it around from you're getting absolutely stomped by the Diamondbacks, I'm done with him. So that's where we're coming up with some trade deals. Now, AJ Preller keeps it pretty close to the vest. So some of these are responding to rumors that I'm seeing out there. Some of these, like today, I'm just throwing out ideas because it's fun to talk about. And right now, the Padres, they're hanging in there. We're 5 to 7 games back of the Dodgers perpetually. We've got Yu Darvish coming back, and we've got good things coming. So like, this is not doom and gloom. Season is not over. I still think the Padres should be buyers at the deadline, but I don't think that buying has to necessarily mean getting rid of our stars for other stars. I think buying can be, with Cease, addition by subtraction. I think just getting rid of Cease, because I will remind you, these are the numbers, and I say this every single time that I bring up Cease. If I just showed you in a vacuum these numbers, and I said, are these A, Matt Waldron, B, Kyle Hart, 3, Randy Vasquez, you'd be like, I don't know, one of those 3. No, like, this is not superstar numbers. And so I am here to say that when it's not superstar numbers, combined with an expiring contract, because this is where he's at, headed into unrestricted free agency next year, and assuming that he wants top dollar, he has not made any major overtures towards like, oh my gosh, I need to be a Padre. I'm all bought in here. I love San Diego. So I'm assuming he's a guy that's going to go test free agency and most likely want more than the San Diego Padres are willing to dish out for him. And I say also most likely the more than anybody wants to dish out for this kind of numbers if they continue. So let's give him a chance to go somewhere else and get some fresh air, restart for the second half of the season, and earn himself a big contract with someone else. Let's part ways. Let's get something in return. The theme of this video is the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, the Milwaukee Brewers are not a team that we have talked a ton about because this is just one of my ideas. Here's where the NL Central is right now, and this is why I think the Brewers are an interesting one. They're a game and a half back, so they are in it, and I think could be interested in acquiring a rental piece like Cease. I think that they already have some signature quality pitching. They have a 1-2. They have a Mizorowski prospect coming up throwing well. Like, Cease is not needed to go there and deliver a 10-0 second half of the season, but he could be a nice piece that if they get him there and the team's winning and the vibes are good and Cease comes in and says, all right, I'm going to pitch you 8 great games, and he turns it on like everybody's saying he's capable of, then it works out for the Brewers, helps them in their play. So that's where the Brewers, to me, can wrap their mind around it. And then looking at what the Brewers have, I think that this could be, like I said, addition by subtraction in terms of getting rid of Cease, but also it could be a chance for us to add some prospects. Now, already on this list, Mizorowski is up there. He's in the majors, so I'm not targeting him. I got number 5 down there on the list as my main thesis here of Jefferson Cuero. He is a catcher, which the San Diego Padres desperately need. And so that is a plus. I think that Any prospect edition is good. A catcher prospect edition is good. If you read the brief, the prospectus, whatever you want to say about him, here's all of his information. He is a 22-year-old catching prospect, international guy whose his major league ETA is this year. So this is not a Salas. This is not a 5 years out project. This is a guy that we could maybe even hypothetically call up come September to get a little sniff, get him on the 40-man, get him some time. Maybe he ends up helping us out already for a playoff push this year. Great. If not, I don't think it's a loss, because having a catcher who's got a decent grade on the arm, on the hitting, on the just a guy who's a top prospect who is a catcher to throw into the, if you want to say catching competition between him and Salas for next year, great. Or if you just want to throw him in as the new heir apparent and then also have Salas developing, bringing along for, because even Salas is only going to be 20 come the end of this season. So he's got a couple more years before you even really talk about him like needing to perform at the major league level to be worth all the hype. So I'm saying Cease for Cuero might sound weird as a straight up. So maybe there's some other pieces needed in there because the Brewers might really like him. Like I said, he's one of their top 5 guys. They might really like him. There's some other deals needed. And this is not something where I didn't read this from Dennis Lynn or anything. So this is me hypothetically sort of working through this here. You can drop, I hope you drop a comment. And I will say with all this to the gentleman that keeps commenting about getting Spencer Jones from the Yankees, I like that deal best. I'm just coming up with other things to help my outlet of my stress and frustration of Dylan Cease. So let's, as a community, work through all of these. If you want to keep hitting those other ones, like I said, you can watch the other videos. You can drop a comment thinking other deals, but this one kind of piqued my interest. I'll show you his numbers again. Jefferson Cuero is the name. Catching and hitting is his game. That is something that the Padres need. So to me, this move checks all boxes. It gets us a little bit better, because I think getting rid of Cease, and you guys ask who's going to replace Cease, Kyle Hart can come in, and I am confident that Kyle Hart can come in for the second half of this season, because we've seen him throw some good games, throw some bad games. He came back up, got optioned back down with you. Like, he's the shuttle guy right now. I think without a doubt, Kyle Hart or Matt Waldron could do this for the second half of this season. I think Kyle Hart or Matt Waldron could probably go 3-3 with a 4-1, which would be a net improvement. So I think right now, getting rid of Dylan Cease in all of these deals is good, because he doesn't really seem like he is like a dyed-in-the-wool Padre, going to stick around forever. But I as I go through my different options of trade him for a left fielder, trade him for a bat right now, trade him for a pile of garbage and $200,000 of international money, trade him for a pitching machine, trade him for, I don't know, trade him for a mascot, trade him for the Philly Fanatic. There's so many deals where I'm just like, let's get rid of this guy right now. I every start with Cease, I'm further and further in that direction. So apologies if some of you are just, Christian, I'm tired of the ranting. Let's move on to another Dylan Cease thing. We will move on once AJ either makes this deal or the trade deadline passes and we still have Cease, in which case I will have to start just being a ride or die Cease guy for the next 4 months. But right now I'm saying the latest in my series of let's get rid of Dylan Cease is Cease for Jefferson Cuero, or Cease for some combo of prospects from the Brewers. Because like I said, they are in a playoff push in the NL Central, so it's not an in division. We can go let them battle it out there with Cease being their dark horse and get into the playoffs, but I think it can net improve our entire situation at 2 positions, at pitching and at catching. So let me know, though, what you think. And like I said at the beginning, if you could hit the subscribe button, it would be much appreciated. If not, no worries. I will still be here ranting and raving, talking baseball for you all season long. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of Padres Digest. Talk to you soon.